Right now, somewhere in your pocket, there is a small metal disc so ordinary you've stopped seeing it. That coin is a 2,600-year-old technology that quietly built civilization. For most of human history, there were no coins. You traded grain for pottery, cattle for cloth, and every deal required the other person to want exactly what you had. Economists call it the double coincidence of wants. If you have fish and need shoes, the cobbler has to want fish, right now, today, in exactly the right amount. Societies tried workarounds. Cowrie shells in ancient China, copper bars in Mesopotamia, bronze tools in early Greece. All of them moved toward money. None quite got there. The breakthrough came in a small kingdom called Lydia, in what is now Western Turkey, around 600 BC. Lydia was rich because a river ran through it, literally. The river Pactolus carried flakes of electrum, a natural alloy of gold and silver, down from nearby mountains. Legend said it ran gold because King Midas had washed his cursed touch there. Lydian craftsmen collected the electrum and refined it into small, uniform lumps. But a lump is just a lump. The genius came from what they did next. They pressed the lump into a die and struck it with a hammer. The punch left an image, a roaring lion's head, Lydia's royal symbol. The first coin had just been minted. Scholars widely credit King Alyattes, who ruled Lydia around 610 to 560 BC, with issuing the first standardized electrum coins. His son Croesus later refined them into pure gold and silver. The stamp was everything. It meant the kingdom vouched for the weight and purity. You no longer needed to test the metal yourself. The coin was a promise, sealed in metal. A farmer could now sell grain for coins, pocket them, and weeks later buy sandals from a cobbler who would never eat his grain. Time and distance suddenly collapsed. By around 550 BC, Greek city-states were minting their own coins, each stamped with a local symbol to signal authority. The idea spread because it was simply too useful to ignore. Athens struck silver tetradrachms stamped with Athena on one side and her sacred owl on the other. These owls became the dollar bill of the ancient Mediterranean, trusted and spent everywhere. The Persian Empire issued gold coins called darics, named after King Darius. They flowed from Egypt to India, paying soldiers and buying loyalty across an empire of extraordinary scale. When Alexander the Great conquered Persia in 331 BC, he melted the royal treasury and minted it into his own coins, flooding the known world with a single currency overnight. Rome inherited and extended the system. The silver denarius, issued from around 211 BC, funded legions, built roads, and knitted together a vast empire under one monetary system. Every Roman emperor understood what a Lydian craftsman had discovered centuries earlier. The face on the coin is the face in charge. Coinage was propaganda you carried in your hand. When the Western Roman Empire collapsed in the 5th century AD, coinage fragmented. Dozens of kingdoms issued dozens of currencies. Long-distance trade shrank, and the unified world of money broke apart. By the 12th century, European trade was recovering. Italian city-states like Florence minted the gold florin, a coin so reliable it circulated across the continent for generations. In the 1500s, Spanish conquistadors reached the Americas and found mountains of silver. Mines in Peru and Mexico poured out metal at a scale the world had never seen before. Spain minted the peso de ocho, the piece of 8. It circulated from Manila to London to Boston, and early American colonists used it as everyday currency before the United States even existed. For most of history, coins were struck by hand, one at a time. Steam power changed that in the 1700s, industrial minting made coins faster and cheaper to produce than ever before. The United States passed the Coinage Act of 1792, establishing a decimal currency. Among its denominations, a 25-cent piece, 1/4 of a dollar. A simple choice with an unexpected future. The early quarter was silver. In 1965, the U.S. Mint switched to a copper-nickel design to save costs. The coin stamped with George Washington took its final form that year. For most of its first 2 centuries, the quarter was simply money. You bought things with it. Nothing about it suggested it would one day birth an entirely new industry. In the early 1970s, a new kind of machine appeared in bars, bowling alleys, and pizza restaurants across America. It had a screen, a joystick, and a slot. It wanted your quarter. In 1972, Atari released Pong, a coin-operated arcade cabinet. Drop a quarter in, and you could bat a pixelated ball back and forth. People lined up and fed it coins for hours. 1 quarter bought 1 game. Run out of lives, feed in another. Arcade operators split the take with manufacturers. The entire business model of a new medium ran on 25 cents. In 1978, Taito released Space Invaders. It swept through Japan and then America, drawing long lines and eating quarters at a pace that astonished operators and manufacturers alike. Those quarters added up. By the early 1980s, the U.S. arcade industry was generating, by many estimates, billions of dollars a year. That money funded studios, paid engineers, and bankrolled new technology. In 1980, Namco released Pac-Man. By some estimates, it earned over $2 billion in quarters within its first few years, a mountain built entirely of 25-cent pieces. An entire generation grew up hoarding quarters, saving them, hunting for them in sofa cushions, trading them like treasure. The quarter was the ticket to another world. The years between 1978 and 1983 became gaming's golden age. Galaga, Asteroids, Centipede, Donkey Kong, each a new world, each one costing exactly 1 quarter to enter. Atari used its arcade profits to develop the Atari 2600, released in 1977. The money flowing through arcade coin slots seeded the research that made home gaming possible. Nintendo hit American arcades in 1981 with Donkey Kong. Those earnings gave Nintendo the capital and recognition to launch the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1985 and rescue the home console market. The quarter didn't just buy you a game. It funded an industry that didn't know it existed yet. Every studio, every designer, every programmer who built modern gaming was downstream of that coin. Trace the chain. A Lydian craftsman strikes a lion into electrum. Rome mints it into law. America stamps Washington on copper-nickel. A kid drops one into a machine. An industry begins. By the mid-1990s, home consoles overtook arcades, and the quarter's role as gaming's gatekeeper faded. But the industry it funded kept growing into something the Lydians could never have imagined. The global video game industry today is worth, by many estimates, well over $200 billion a year, larger than film and music combined. Its earliest revenues were collected quarter by quarter. Meanwhile, the coin itself keeps going. Central banks still issue them. Vending machines and parking meters still need them. Children still collect them. 26 centuries in, and the disc endures. Digital payments are eroding cash in many countries. Some Scandinavian nations now conduct the vast majority of transactions without physical money. Economists debate whether coins could vanish within decades. Every time a currency has tried to eliminate the coin, something pulls it back. A sense that tangible money is real money, that the weight in your hand means something a screen cannot replicate. The coin was always more than metal. It was a shared agreement. This small disc has value because we all say it does. That agreement is the foundation of every economy on Earth. The phrase rich as Croesus entered the language because the Lydian king who perfected the coin became the wealthiest man of his age. Then the coin outlasted him and every empire that followed. One small disc, stamped with a lion, passed hand to hand for 26 centuries. It crossed oceans, funded armies, built cities, and in a pizza parlor in 1978, it launched the future. This is Origins. Subscribe and come back tomorrow. There's a new origin every single morning.